Yo, what's going on, NFL fans? Welcome back to the J All Day channel. In today's episode, I want to break down the Dallas Cowboys draft. I'm going to give them an overall grade and then grades for each individual pick for all 7 rounds. All right, don't forget, if you haven't yet, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow so I can continue to give you all kinds of NFL content. With the first pick in the draft, they took Tyler Guyton. They traded back with Detroit and selected Tyler Guyton at pick 29. He's 6'8", 322 pounds. He's got all the skills in the world, but he only started 14 games in college. ESPN thinks he's a plug-and-play player at right tackle. I just don't know if I agree with that, man. A guy with only 14 games experience in college, now he's going to go start in the NFL. If they put him out there day one, he's going to have some serious growing pains, in my opinion. Pick 29 is kind of around where I thought he was going to go. I thought he was a day 2 guy personally. He just doesn't have enough experience. He's got all the tools. He's really young, 6'8", 322 pounds. I like the pick. I don't love it because the Cowboys need a lot of help on offensive line. And Tyler Guyton, I just don't agree that he's a plug-and-play guy at right tackle day 1 for the season. All right, now let's go on to the second round pick, Marshawn Nealon from Western Michigan. Pick 24 in the second round. He's an edge defender. ESPN gives him a grade of 86. I really like him. He's big. He's strong. He's got really long arms. He's great at setting the edge. He can get off blocks. He's just a really, really good player. And he's strong enough to get inside the pads of these offensive linemen, push them back, stand them up, make reads. He's really good at holding up offensive linemen, pushing them out of the way, and making plays in the run game. Marshawn Nealon is a really, really good pick. For me, he's a B-plus pick for me. For Tyler Guyton, I forgot to give him a grade. He's a C-plus to C grade for me. I just don't love it in the first round. I think they should have stayed where they were picking at 24 and picked a better player. Okay, back to Marshawn Nealon, 6'3", 267 pounds. He's really one of my favorite players that the Cowboys got in this draft. The Cowboys have DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons on the edge, but Micah Parsons needs a new deal, and DeMarcus Lawrence is 33. So he could be the heir apparent for DeMarcus Lawrence. I love this pick. B-plus grade for me. All right, next. This is another pick. I think they hit it out of the park. Getting Cooper Beebe in the 3rd round, pick number 9. He's one of the best interior offensive linemen in this entire draft. 6'3", 322 pounds from Kansas State. He's just a really good run blocker. He's strong. He's got big, strong hands. He's really good at moving defensive linemen around the line of scrimmage. I love this pick. He's definitely one of my favorite players from the interior line in this entire draft class. He was I think my 4th or 5th interior offensive lineman ranked on my big board this year. To get him in the 3rd round at pick number 9 is really good value. He could also play the center position. I wouldn't be surprised if Cooper Beebe moves to center this year for the Cowboys. I mean, yeah, position rank, ESPN has him number 2, 77 grade. I mean, great pick in the 3rd round for the Cowboys. They absolutely nailed that pick. All right, now we're going to move on to another 3rd round pick, Maurice Lufa from Notre Dame, the linebacker, 6'2", 234 pounds. With Leighton Vander Esch having to retire because of injuries, they needed to address the linebacker position. Lufa's got good length to get off of blocks. He's really good at chasing down ball carriers. He's got really good speed, and his long arms keeps him off blocks. He's a really good player in the middle of this defense. I really like Lufa because he's fast enough to be covering some of these really athletic tight ends in the NFL. Every single year, tight ends just get more and more athletic. You have from Travis Kelce to Sam Laporta to Brock Bowers this year. These guys are fast, they're strong, they run good routes, so you really need good linebackers to cover these guys. In my opinion, the linebacker group this year was not very good. As you can see, we went from a 77 graded player to a 64 graded player, only a few picks down from their last pick in the 3rd round. I don't love the linebackers in this draft class. We'll see how they pan out at the NFL level. Kendricks is 32 years old, so he's not the long-term solution there, so they needed to draft a linebacker. I like this pick. C plus grade for me. He's not one of my favorite players in this draft class for sure. All right, the Cowboys did not have a 4th round pick, and they didn't pick until late in the 5th round, pick 39 in the 5th. Okay, we got a okay player. I like his size. Khalil Carson, 6 foot, 199 pounds. He's pretty scheme versatile. He can line up man-to-man. He can play zone. He's a pretty good player. He's got good break on the ball. He's a really good downhill player. He's a willing tackler in the run game. When you pick a guy in the 5th round, he's not really going to play right away. He has some time to grow. And the Cowboys are pretty set at the cornerback position for the next few years. With Diggs coming off that injury, we'll see how he works out on the defense this year, but 6 foot, 199 pounds. He's tough against the run. He's a pretty good tackler for late in the 5th round pick. I like this pick. I'm going to go B- for Khalil Carson out of Wake Forest. And then in the 6th round, they picked Ryan Flournoy, 34 grade from ESPN, 6'1", 202. He ran a pretty good 40, 4.44 40, so he's got pretty good speed. He averaged over 15 yards per catch in college at Southern Missouri State. I mean, he's not playing elite competition at Southeast Missouri State, so we'll have to see how his game translates to the NFL. I think there were some better picks in the 6th round at offensive line, or you can maybe go running back in the 6th round. They needed a running back. They didn't address that. I'm going to go C- for this pick in the 6th round. Ryan Flournoy. And then Nathan Thomas, the offensive tackle from Louisiana. I actually like this pick, 6'5", 332 pounds. Thomas is quick. He's got really good size. 6'5", 332 is like prototypical offensive tackle. He's a really good pass protector. Needs a little help in the run game. He lined up at right tackle and left tackle, so he's a pretty versatile player for this late in the draft in the 7th round. It's a good flyer pick. I'm going to go B- grade for this 7th round pick, maybe even a B. I'm actually going to give it a B because Nathan Thomas, he could actually compete for a starting job in a year or two, I think, coming out of Louisiana. Round 7, pick 24, they took Justin Rogers out of Auburn, 6'3", 330 pounds. He's got pretty good size for D tackle. I like 6'3". He can even probably put on a little bit of weight, and maybe he'll get up in that 340, 350 range, and that's an absolute monster of a D tackle. He's a big nose tackle prospect. Yeah, I really like his size, 6'3", 330. He's a big boy. I mean, he's going to be really good and stop in the run. He's got strong hands. He's good at getting off blocks. He's a pretty decent player this late in the draft. But Rodgers is not necessarily the best pass rusher in this draft. That's why he fell to the 7th round and only got a 35 grade from ESPN. He definitely has to work on his pass rush moves because these interior offensive linemen are getting better and better. And the NFL is really valuing centers and guards a lot more than they have been in previous years. Now it's pretty much all offensive linemen, especially the guards and the tackles are going early in the draft, a lot earlier than they did in previous years. For me, when I look at this draft class as a whole, I give it a C grade only because I think Tyler Guyton is not a plug-and-play player at offensive line this year. Only 14 games in college he played, and now he's going to come start in the NFL against really good offensive lines like the Eagles and the Giants have a pretty good offensive line too. I just don't like that at all. And Marshawn Nealon is a good player, but they have DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, so he's not going to play a lot this year. Cooper Beebe, I think, is probably going to start at center for the Cowboys, so I really like that pick. Luafa might start, but he's not really that good of a player. Carson's not going to play. Flournoy's not going to play, and neither is Thomas or Rogers. So when you look at this draft class, there's not going to be a lot of impact guys that are going to impact the Cowboys roster this year. Tyler Guyton, they might force him to play, but I think he's going to have some serious growing pains. He's really young. He doesn't have a lot of experience, but down the road, maybe this pick pays off 2 or 3 years down the road. But this year, I don't see a lot of impact coming from this draft class. Let me know in the comments below. What is your overall grade for the Cowboys? Do you like my assessment of these players? Do you think I'm out of my mind crazy? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.